A life without love is a meaningless life. And then you try to escape and go and love God. This is nonsense. First, be capable of being loved by your neighbor. Then you can love God. When there is this woman who commits adultery, and she is there in the plaza to be stoned by people, and then Christ arrives and look, and people, they say, okay, let's fulfill the law. But the one who never committed the sin, throw the first stone. And then little by little, and the Bible says, starting with the elder and coming to the, everybody leaves the place. And then Jesus goes to the woman and said, oh, nobody condemned you, so I'm not condemning you also. I was in Austria with a monk, and we are in the table, and the monk, she's a woman, she was in this cave for 24 years. And I asked her in front of everybody, I said, but Tenzin, what is it to be, to have 24 years without sex? And she said, but then I had this spiritual orgasm. I said, but for you it took 24 years to have a spiritual orgasm. It's much easier to connect and have physical orgasm. That takes you also to this spiritual level. I wrote them a book called 11 Minutes that is basically about how we see sex today and how we deal with it. I think that sex was put there by God. And it's funny because the same sensation that you have in an orgasm, you have in the mystical ecstasies. I experienced both, orgasm and mystical ecstasies. and when you have an orgasm, you don't see, you don't hear, you are totally there. You know, it's a kind of golden light for seconds, but also a mystical ecstasies lasts not more than 5 or 6 seconds. That you have, So you are not yourself anymore. You are something that goes beyond yourself. You are this golden light.
It is Harvest Festival in Santo Domingo de la Calzada, one of the beautiful cities along the Camino. For Paulo, it was quite a coincidence that he experienced this celebration. They are celebrating that the harvest is over. The fields are left behind empty, and life has gone into hibernation. It is the circle of life. The same circle challenges people on the Camino to reflect on both life and death.
This I first learned in the road to Santiago. You know, facing your death, not as your enemy, but as your friend. My death is sitting here. She's blonde. She's beautiful. And she always look at me and say, I'm going to kiss you. I said, please wait another day. You don't need to kiss me today. I can just give me another day, but I'm very conscious of my death.
Cebrero is a small village that means something special to Paulo Coelho. This is the place he realized that his dream was to become a writer, and where he decided to follow his path of life. And therefore, he has made a very special decision.
I never ever returned to the Cebrero. I am only going to return to Cebrero under the form of ashes. And then the wind will take me, because my spirit will be here, like any other spirit. I'm not this type of person who thinks a lot about the past. I lived my past as intensely as I could, for example. I only did this pilgrimage once. But when I did it, in 1986, I did it with all my heart and all my body. So if you repeat, it's a kind of downgrading something. There are people who get addicted to this road. I don't understand why. And I respect their attitude. But for me, sometimes, most of the times I do something only once. But when I do totally. I am who I am. The road started in Santiago, not ended in Santiago. And since then, I'm still following the road to Santiago. If not the physical one that crosses Puente La Reina, etc., the road to Santiago is my path, the path that I learned that is walked by common people, by people who really love and are enthusiastic about what they do. I have to honor the mystery of being alive. So I want to live with my questions. They are much more interesting than my answers.